Vladimir Putin is a riddle, wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. His persona is as complex as the history of the nation he leads, and his actions often leave the world guessing about his true intentions. He is the most consequential Russian leader since Stalin, a man who has dominated his country's stage for over 2 decades. His tenure has seen Russia transform in ways both profound and controversial, making him a pivotal figure in modern history. His steely gaze, his carefully cultivated air of strength, and his calculated silences have captivated the world's attention. These traits are not just for show, they are tools in his arsenal, used to project an image of unyielding power and control. But who is the real Vladimir Putin? What drives him? And what does he want for Russia and its place in the world? These questions have puzzled analysts and politicians alike, as they try to decipher the motivations behind his actions. Putin's story is one of ambition, cunning, and an unwavering belief in Russian power. His rise to the top was not a matter of chance, but a calculated journey marked by strategic moves and alliances. He is a master strategist, playing the game of geopolitics with the skill of a grandmaster. Every move he makes is deliberate, aimed at strengthening Russia's position on the global stage. He understands the levers of power, and is not afraid to use them. Whether through economic influence, military might, or political maneuvering, Putin has shown a remarkable ability to bend situations to his will. His actions have reshaped the global order, sparking both admiration and fear. From annexing Crimea to intervening in Syria, his bold moves have left an indelible mark on international relations. To understand Putin, we must journey back to his beginnings, to the grim streets of post-war Leningrad, where a young boy learned the harsh realities of survival. It was here that he developed the resilience and determination that would later define his leadership. It was in the shadows of the Cold War that Putin's worldview was formed, a worldview that continues to shape his actions today. The ideological battles of that era left a lasting impression on him, influencing his approach to both domestic and foreign policy. This essay will delve into the life and times of Vladimir Putin, exploring his formative years, his rise to power, and his enduring impact on Russia and the world stage. We will trace his journey from a KGB officer to the highest echelons of Russian politics. We will examine his complex legacy, marked by both economic progress and political repression, by international assertiveness and strategic cunning. Under his rule, Russia has seen significant economic growth, but this has often come at the cost of political freedoms. Ultimately, we will attempt to answer the question that has baffled observers for years. What is the endgame of this enigmatic figure who holds the fate of Russia, and perhaps the world, in his hands? Is his vision one of restoration of past glories, or is it something entirely different? As we explore these questions, we will also consider the cultural and historical context that shapes Putin's policies. Russia's rich history and its people's enduring spirit are integral to understanding the man at its helm. From the vast landscapes of Siberia to the bustling streets of Moscow, Russia is a nation of contrasts. Putin's leadership reflects these contrasts, balancing modernization with tradition and ambition with caution. His focus on technological advancement and military modernization is part of a broader strategy to secure Russia's place as a global power. Yet, this drive for progress is often accompanied by a tightening grip on political dissent. The international community remains divided on how to deal with Putin's Russia. While some see him as a stabilizing force, others view him as a disruptor of the global order. This dichotomy adds another layer to the riddle that is Vladimir Putin. As we conclude this exploration, we are left with a portrait of a leader who is as enigmatic as he is influential. Vladimir Putin's legacy will be debated for years to come, but one thing is certain: his impact on Russia and the world is undeniable. Join us as we unravel the riddle of Putin, seeking to understand the man behind the power and the future he envisions for Russia and beyond. The story of Vladimir Putin begins in the ruins of Leningrad, a city scarred by the brutal siege it endured during World War II. The siege, lasting 872 days, left an indelible mark on the city and its inhabitants. Born in 1952, Putin grew up in a communal apartment sharing a kitchen with several other families. These communal apartments, known as kommunalkas, were a hallmark of Soviet urban life, where privacy was a luxury few could afford. Life was harsh, marked by poverty and the ever-present shadow of the war that had decimated his city and claimed the life of his older brother. The city was in a state of recovery, with its people striving to rebuild their lives amidst the ruins. Young Putin was a scrapper, a streetwise kid who learned to fight for what he wanted. The streets of Leningrad were his playground, and it was here that he developed a toughness and resilience that would serve him well in later life. He excelled in his studies, displaying a sharp intellect and a thirst for knowledge. His teachers noted his keen mind and disciplined approach to learning, traits that would become defining characteristics of his personality. But it was his fascination with espionage, fueled by popular Soviet spy novels and movies, that would set him on his future path. These stories of intrigue and covert operations captured his imagination and planted the seeds of his future ambitions. That would set him on his future path. The allure of the secretive world of espionage was irresistible to the young Putin, who dreamed of becoming a spy. At Leningrad State University, Putin studied law, a strategic choice in a system where the law was often a tool of the state. His legal education provided him with a deep understanding of the mechanisms of power and control within the Soviet system. It was during this time that he came to the attention of the KGB, the Soviet Union's feared intelligence agency. The KGB, always on the lookout for promising recruits, saw potential in the young law student. The KGB saw in Putin the qualities they prized: intelligence, discipline, and an unwavering loyalty to the Soviet state. His recruitment into the KGB marked the beginning of a new chapter in his life, one that would eventually lead him to the highest echelons of power in Russia. Putin underwent rigorous training, honing his skills in espionage, counterintelligence, and combat. The KGB's training was designed to mold recruits into elite operatives, capable of carrying out the most sensitive and dangerous missions. His early assignments took him abroad, where he gained valuable experience in the field. These missions were crucial in shaping his understanding of international relations and the complexities of global politics. As he rose through the ranks, Putin's reputation as a skilled and dedicated operative grew. His colleagues and superiors recognized his talents and his unwavering commitment to the Soviet cause. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 was a turning point for Putin. The dissolution of the state he had served so loyally left him at a crossroads, but it also presented new opportunities. In the chaotic years that followed, Putin navigated the turbulent political landscape of post-Soviet Russia, leveraging his skills and connections to rise to prominence. His journey from the streets of Leningrad to the corridors of power in Moscow is a testament to his resilience and strategic acumen. Putin's recruitment into the KGB was a turning point in his life. It marked the beginning of a journey that would shape his future and the future of Russia. The KGB, known for its secrecy and power, was an organization that demanded loyalty, discipline, and a unique set of skills. For Putin, joining the KGB was not just a career choice, it was a calling. He embraced the world of espionage, undergoing rigorous training in intelligence gathering, counterintelligence, and covert operations. The training was intense and comprehensive, covering everything from surveillance techniques to psychological warfare. Putin learned how to gather information without being detected, how to analyze data to uncover hidden truths, and how to conduct covert operations that could change the course of events. He honed his skills in observation, analysis, and manipulation, learning to navigate the shadowy world of secrets and deception. The ability to read people, to understand their motivations and weaknesses, became second nature to him. He developed a keen sense of when to trust and when to deceive, a skill that would serve him well in his future political career. His first KGB posting was to Dresden, East Germany, where he served as a mid-level intelligence officer. Dresden, a city with a rich history and a strategic location, was a hotbed of espionage activity during the Cold War. Putin's role involved not only gathering intelligence but also managing informants and conducting operations that required a delicate balance of aggression and subtlety. While not as glamorous as some of the KGB's other postings, Dresden provided Putin with valuable experience in cultivating informants, analyzing intelligence reports, and understanding the inner workings of a communist state. He learned how to build networks of informants, how to extract useful information from seemingly mundane conversations, and how to piece together disparate bits of data to form a coherent picture of enemy activities. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 and the subsequent collapse of the Soviet Union were seismic events that shook Putin to his core. These events not only marked the end of an era, but also the beginning of a period of great uncertainty and instability. For Putin, who had dedicated his life to serving the Soviet state, the collapse was a personal and professional crisis. He witnessed firsthand the chaos and uncertainty that followed the demise of a superpower. The streets of Russia were filled with confusion and despair as the old order crumbled and a new, uncertain future loomed. The economic hardships, the rise of crime, and the loss of national pride were all challenges that Putin observed closely, shaping his views on governance and power. These experiences would have a profound impact on his worldview, instilling in him a deep distrust of the West and a determination to restore Russia to its former glory. He saw the West not as a partner, but as a competitor, and he believed that Russia's resurgence on the global stage was not just desirable but necessary. This belief would drive many of his actions in the years to come, as he sought to rebuild Russia's strength and influence in a rapidly changing world. Beyond the world of espionage, Putin cultivated a persona of strength and athleticism. A black belt in judo, he saw the martial art as more than just a sport, but as a philosophy that emphasized discipline, self-control, and the strategic use of force. These principles would later become hallmarks of his political style. As the Soviet Union crumbled, Putin returned to a Russia in turmoil. He navigated the chaotic world of post-Soviet politics with his characteristic blend of pragmatism and ruthlessness. He forged alliances with powerful oligarchs, the newly rich businessmen who had amassed vast fortunes in the privatization of state assets. Putin understood that these oligarchs held the keys to economic and political power in the new Russia. He cultivated their support, offering them protection and access in exchange for their loyalty. This pragmatic approach, while controversial, allowed Putin to consolidate his power base and position himself for bigger things. In the late 1990s, Russia was reeling from economic collapse, political instability, and the disastrous war in Chechnya. Boris Yeltsin, the first president of the Russian Federation, was a spent force, his presidency plagued by scandal, ill health, and a growing sense of national decline. It was against this backdrop that Yeltsin made the fateful decision to appoint Vladimir Putin, a relatively unknown former KGB officer, as his prime minister. Putin, with his reputation for competence and his image as a strong leader, was seen as a safe pair of hands, someone who could restore order and stability to a nation in crisis. Putin's rise to power was swift and unexpected. He quickly consolidated his control over the levers of government, outmaneuvering his rivals and silencing his critics. When Yeltsin unexpectedly resigned on New Year's Eve 1999, Putin became acting president. Just a few months later, he won his first term as president, beginning his reign over Russia that continues to this day.